Hey there guys. So yeah, Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez, final prediction. So going into this fight, when it was first announced and whatnot, I was very undecided. I saw it as a 50-50 fight. I could see Caleb Plant outboxing David Benavidez, because David Benavidez, he has been outboxed before. In his first fight against Ronald Gavril, I thought Ronald Gavril clearly won that fight. I thought he picked up most of the rounds just by landing more punches and the cleaner punches, and he obviously dropped Benavidez in the last round, and for me he secured the win. But obviously he didn't get the decision and whatnot. But yeah, in that fight, Benavidez, I think he tried to box too much, especially in the early rounds. He was trying to use his height and reach, and he was trying to just outbox Ronald Gavril from the outside using his jab and using his right hand. But the thing with Benavidez is he can't box. All he can do is brawl. He's very one-dimensional in that way. He hasn't got a particularly good jab. He doesn't really land with the jab very often when he throws it, and he doesn't really commit to the jab either. So he can't really outbox anyone. And every time he tries to outbox someone, he usually gets soundly outboxed himself. So I definitely think he should take the fight to Caleb Plant and put pressure on him all night instead of trying to outbox him. And the other scenario I saw when this fight was first announced was Benavidez really putting the pressure on Caleb Plant and landing more punches and winning the fight on points. Because Caleb Plant, don't get me wrong, his defense is decent, but he does get hit. So in this fight, even in this last fight against Anthony Durrell was able to have success because Caleb Plant, he keeps one hand very low. He fights in that shoulder roll, and against guys who, you know, are a similar size to him, or bigger like Benavidez is, that style is going to be fairly limited because if you're getting hit clean, you know, if you don't block it with the one glove you've got up. So and obviously Benavidez throws a lot of punches. He's a volume puncher, and he outworks almost all of his opponents. So I could definitely see that as well going into this fight. And as the time's gone on and the fight's got closer, I do favour David Benavidez to win this fight. I think he will put pressure on Caleb Plant, and I think he will probably land more punches in most of the rounds, and he'll take the fight on points. I definitely see Caleb Plant having some success in this fight. I definitely see him having success, you know, jabbing to the body, because Benavidez, he fights very tall. He doesn't block his body very well, and obviously Caleb Plant's got a very fast jab, and Benavidez, he's got very slow feet, so he can't really get out of range very effectively. As opposed to Caleb Plant, who's got very fast feet and he can get in and out of range very quickly. So I can definitely see him jabbing to the body very well, landing a lot of body shots, and that should be a strategy he goes for. For Caleb Plant to win the fight, he should target the body. He should really go all in for the body work and try and slow Benavidez down for the later rounds, and either take the fight on points or by late stoppage. But I think the most likely scenario is David Benavidez outworking Caleb Plant in most of the rounds. I think with Benavidez being so much bigger than Caleb Plant, you know, Benavidez is massive for the division. I think his size and strength when he's coming forward, putting the pressure on Plant, will really tell. And I think he will probably be able to land. He'll be able to outwork Caleb Plant. I think Plant will have his success landing some clean shots, but I think Benavidez will land with more volume, and he'll take most of the rounds. Maybe some people will disagree, but I don't see a stoppage in this fight. I don't see Plant stopping Benavidez. I think with Benavidez' size and you know, because he's so much bigger than Plant. I don't see Caleb Plant really getting the stoppage in this fight. But Plant can punch. I mean, he knocked Anthony Durrell's spark out, and he's put Jose Uzcategui down twice, so he can punch, and if he lands a solid shot, he will hurt Benavidez, but I don't think the stoppage is too likely. And I don't see Benavidez stopping Plant. I don't think Benavidez is necessarily like a massive puncher or anything. I mean, in his last few fights, before the David Lemieux fight, David Benavidez didn't score a knockdown for consecutive fights in a row, and you know, he didn't knock down Ronald Gavril despite beating him up for 12 rounds. He didn't knock Durrell down, didn't knock Ronald Ellis or Kyron Davis down. So I don't think Benavidez will stop Plant. I think Plant is good enough to. I think he's got good enough defense and good enough movement to last the distance without being sort of pushed into a corner and just you know, Benavidez lets his hands go and gets a stoppage. So yeah, I favour David Benavidez by a very close decision, just because he lands more punches than Caleb Plant. I think it'll be probably a 7-5 or an 8-4 type fight in favour of Benavidez. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and God bless.